Welcome, friends. This is Brevity Sports, coming at you from our caves where we talk major news in major sports. Here with my co-host, Big Z, and myself, Fredo Lay. Welcome, one and all. We are back. It is your boy, Fredo Lay, a.k.a. The Lay, and your boy, Big Z. We are here. We are back. We got another episode for you. Come on now. You knew we were coming. Thank you so much for joining us. We're having a blast doing this podcast. We've gotten some positive feedback from those who are listening. We appreciate that. As always, keep listening. Tell your friends. We love you. Brevity Sports. We're here to stay every week. Look out for our episodes. We got a fun episode coming for you tonight. Not much news on the NFL front, but we did find a pretty funny meme that we're going to discuss for no reason at all. There you go. We got some NCAA Final Four madness. And of course, the NBA, as the season wraps up, there's a large thing looming, right? It's large. Looming,
Very
Big
large.
Z. It's large. The MLB just went through this, and I feel like a lot of NBA fans, in fact, I was out in Texas. I was on a family trip. I was out in Texas this last weekend. I was talking to a lot of people who are NBA fans, and I was asking them, as they were talking about the NBA, they were like, hey, what do you think about the NBA? You know, talking about the podcast, just out there, you know, chopping it up. You know how we do, Big Z. We're people. We're people. We love talking. Chopping it up. And I was like, are you scared of the inevitable lockout that is coming for the NBA? I'm like, no, they'll figure it out. I'm like, oh, that's tough. So we're going to talk about that tonight. You know, just get our initial reactions. But first and foremost, Big Z, I know I said this to you today. It was so funny. I saw on NFL memes, like I did not come up with this. I'm not taking any kind of credit for it. It was on NFL memes. The worst quarterback, constructing the worst possible quarterback. I'm going to read them to you, and then we'll just kind of look at it because I thought this was hilarious. If you haven't seen this, again, NFL memes, we don't know them. We're not related to them, so don't get mad at me. I did not come up with this, but we're for sure talking about it. Kyler Murray's focus, Kirk Cousins' left shoulder when it's not 1 p.m., and I'm assuming that just means like his throwing, his ability. Davis Mills' neck, Joe Burrow's hands, Dak Prescott's interceptions, Zach Wilson's leadership, Trey Lance's health. I felt like that one was going to hurt you a little bit. I felt like that was going to hurt a little bit.
Well, you know me. I've never been a proponent of Trey Lance. So.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston's appetite, Daniel Jones' balance, Deshaun Watson's appetites, taste. I don't know how to go about that one. And Mac Jones' ankles, as well as the one I found hilarious that it was included off to the side of the screen. It just has Lamar Jackson's agent, which I found stinking hilarious. Like these dudes nailed this thing. It was too funny not to talk about. Like I know the NFL season, everybody's thinking about it. We got these sports going to XFL, USFL. It's all going on. USFL is on its way back, but we got to talk about it. You got to talk about the NFL. The NFL, something that everybody watches, everybody loves it, and there wasn't too much in terms of the free agency side. So let's talk about this thing. Kyler Murray, right? Like I had to go to the tweets, right? Like I had to go to the tweets just to check out what was going on. Yeah, dude. What was hilarious was that fans did actual research on this thing, right? They found out that when COD launches, right, his stats went down, but it was at its worst when apparently there was a double XP weekend. And I was like, wait, who sat there and looked up these stats? Like who sat there and took the time to be like, you know what? When it's a double XP weekend, it's actually significantly worse. And then the funniest one I saw hands down was that even though his stats got a little bit worse, this person made the argument that even though the stats got a little bit worse, right, the losses was actually significantly worse. So actually, it's not just Kyler bringing himself down. He's forcing his teammates to play. And I thought that was hilarious. And he's bringing down the whole team. You can't make that up. Just that level of focus. And I agree with you. I don't care who you are. I don't care what the story is. I know the Cardinals and Kyler came out last year and we're like, no. This is completely misinterpreted. If you have to have a clause in your contract stating you have to watch X amount of video, X amount of football. Like, dude, I'm sorry. Look at the greatest
That's not the
QBs
quarterback
of all
I
time.
want to lead my team.
They put in the work, dude. Drew Brees, Tom Brady, notorious. Peyton Manning, notorious for
Jimmy
studying
G.
film. Oh boy, throwing his boy in there. Hey, at least Jimmy G didn't make this. I mean, there's some that would probably make the argument.
That's
I feel like
true.
I feel like we put like Jimmy G's balance. It's right there with Daniel Jones, maybe. I don't know.
mean, Jimmy G's a stud, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
Jimmy G is a stud, dude. Kirk Cousins, right shoulder.
This is funny. So yeah, because okay, so Kirk Cousins just sucks. Like in any primetime game, his record is terrible. Like this is back when he was on the Commanders or Redskins at that time.
Right.
He just could not play well when it was a Monday night game, a Sunday night game, a Thursday night game. It just 1 p.m. That's it. Like he's a stud then, and all of a sudden when the lights shine on him, done. I think that's great. I love it.
Dude, CBS 2022 said he was 2 for 10 on Monday Night Football. 2 for 10, and his 2 wins were against the Bears. Like, that's all you need to know. Outside of the last, 5 or 6 games with Justin Fields being let loose, the Bears have just been a train wreck for, the last decade. That's all you need to know about it. You know what I mean? It's wild, dude. And then the one I didn't understand was Joe Burrow's hands. I mean, I had to look into it.
Does he have a
his
small
hands,
left hand?
So apparently his hands are 9 inches. And the only quarterback that was of note that had smaller hands was 8.5 inches, which is Pickett, the quarterback of the Steelers. And it was smaller than Wilson's and Rodgers, who were both above 10 inches. But when I looked into fumbles, because obviously if I'm going to take a shot at somebody, I want something serious. I know it was funny because when I typed in Joe Burrow's hands, immediately all the talk apparently when he was being drafted was he had small hands. And he was like, wait, I just won a national championship at LSU. Yeah. I just flung the ball around the field. What are you talking about?
It's surprising that he made this list. He's obviously a top 5 quarterback. That
you'd be hard pressed to say outside of top 3 right now. Amongst active quarterbacks, he's top 3. I mean, to me, Herbert is approaching that throne room, but when you look at who the last 2 Super Bowls have gone through outside of Matt Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Joey B. He resurrected the Bengals. Where were the Bengals before Joey B with all that swag rolled into town?
Swag, man. He walks in there with confidence. And but look, to the right of him, we got Dak Prescott's interceptions, which obviously easily makes the list. And he's obviously 100%. One of the he's part of the makeup of the worst NFL quarterback for sure. Let's just look at the playoff game against the Niners. Just terrible, terrible decisions. Oh, wait, let's look at last year in the playoffs against the 49ers. Other terrible, terrible decisions. He's not smart when it really comes down to it. He's being overpaid, and good luck to him this year. He's gonna make a first-round exit again, and that's just his legacy. His interceptions, terrible.
Last year against the Niners, just so everybody knows that Big Z's not being like a homer here. Okay, 63.6 QBR, 1 TD, 2 interceptions, 205 yards passing. Terrible. This guy is awful. In the playoffs when it matters. He's so bad. And he led the league in interceptions, tied with Allen at 17. So that's where this is coming from. This is not a hating on Cowboy stat. It is what it is. And the best part about it, is I got friends who are already in my DMs like, hey, Dak is coming for you. The revenge tour is coming for you. And I'm like, dude, I'm waiting. I will wait. I will sit outside with my rainbows on and, a beer and chicken on the barbecue. You know what I mean? I'm barbecuing hamburgers. I'm waiting for this revenge tour. Cause right now for up here on Mount hating on Dak Prescott, I feel fantastic. The weather's great.
Ask your friends. And I want them to comment on a post that we make or comment on our podcast page. But are you really, is this guy really the guy? Do you really believe
he can't be the guy? He can't be the guy.
Don't be so blinded by your cowboyness.
But here's the argument. Here's the argument because I can already hear the mini Cowboys in my ear. Well, who are we supposed to go get? What are our options? Look at the other quarterbacks in the league. He's not the worst guy. I'm like, is that really your argument? He's not the worst guy. I thought the Cowboys were supposed to be this storied franchise. Trade him and go get a pick. You weren't even in on the number 1 pick. You didn't even go for it. You were not one of the teams that was being discussed. And we just talked about it last podcast. There is some elite talent coming out at the quarterback position. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
I don't.
I'll tell you what else I don't get is Zach Wilson's leadership. They got his jersey on in the middle of it.
I understand that. That's he has no leadership. That's why
That's
he makes
exactly
up
it.
the worst quarterback. It's like
but don't you kind of wonder?
Is like the biggest portion of this quarterback.
But a little bit, don't you kind of wonder, like, what is this guy thinking? You know, when he shows up to camp, when he shows up to play for the Jets, like, what is this dude thinking? Like, just on a pure, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't know what he's thinking. He thinks that he led BYU to a good season, and then he got shredded by Central Carolina or whoever it was, and that he's supposed to be like the guy. Like, come on, dude! Like, you were drafted.
This guy.
No. This is what he should have thought. I was drafted by the Jets at number 1. Like, right. This is obvious a mistake. Like I shouldn't be here.
No. Oh no. You single-handedly took a shot at Wilson and the Jets, like all in one fail swoop. My boy. Terrible. My boy. And then, like, look, when I look at this guy, like, all I need to know is that Mitch White came in for one game and the entire team made shirts. Like, they didn't just embrace the dude. So they made shirts. They were like, no. It's not enough just for us to say this guy is our quarterback. We need to make shirts. We need to make it be known that this is the guy that we want. This next one, which I didn't get it at first, Jameis Winston's appetite. But when I looked it up, there was a really funny quote from him. In 2020, he said, "Oh, I went vegan for sure a few years ago," right? I'm kind of paraphrasing that part. But then he says, but he eats bad on the weekends because if he didn't, he'd weigh like 210 pounds. I'm like, wait, are you vegan or not? Like, this is not something that, like, you know, like, oh, I'm vegetarian.
Well, that's
except for Saturday, like, Sunday.
That's kind of the story of his NFL career. Just, being, giving so much focus on one thing. Like, he says, I'm a vegan, but yet not on Friday and Saturday. It's just like the same as him. I'm going to give all this focus to not throwing interceptions, but every other drive, I'm going to throw an interception. That's just like, right. That's what Jameis Winston's career is. He was the guy at Florida State. Everyone worshiped him. He had, the world was his, right? The world was his oyster.
Oh, for sure.
And then he came in and he had a season, he threw 30 interceptions. That is insane. So that's just the story of his career, just not being able to focus and giving commitment to one thing and really focusing on what's going to make him better, just thinking that he's just that good. So that makes sense.
Right.
I like it.
No, that makes sense. And then when I read that, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Trey Lance's health. I mean, the dude's played one full game.
It sucks, dude. Purdy's the guy. I mean, John Lynch came out and said this week, he said that Purdy has earned the spot to be the number 1 starter for us once he's healthy. So
you don't win 6 games in a row. You don't win 6 games in a row, including looking fantastic in your first few playoff games, operating the system. Yeah, there's something to be said for being able to stay healthy. If you don't stay on your feet, you cannot be the guy. Ask RG3. RG3 was an unbelievable talent coming out of Baylor just a few short years ago. He just could not stay healthy. And I love RG3. Great at commentary. I enjoy seeing him.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to have a legendary football career based on his intangibles. And he is a great leader, hard worker, but he just could not stay healthy. And at some point, that does come into reality, and Trey Lance, we haven't seen it yet.
We haven't. And it sucks. It pains me to say it, but again, I always had a feeling like he's just not the guy. And for those of you who was like, well, Purdy got hurt in the NFC Championship game. It's like, it's a fluke accident injury. A guy ran into his elbow and it just like freaking popped it out of socket. Like, or tore his ligament. Like that doesn't normally happen. So we need to see Purdy. But, and again, well, he's in the 49ers system. No, the guy went 6-0. Like that. You're playing against NFL talent. You have to get the guy some props at some time. So
until you're playing against a playoff team, I get that argument. But a la Aaron Rodgers, who can't win multiple playoff games, a la Dak Prescott, who can win multiple playoff games. Right.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Than Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, so, I don't want to hear about the system quarterback. I've heard the same thing about Tom Brady. It's like, well, Tom Brady was in the system forever with the Patriots. No, I don't want to hear that argument. When you're winning playoff games, ask the team who are losing playoff games year in, year out. Ask any of those teams. They're not happy. Okay, playoff games, they're hard to win. Ask anybody. It is what it is. Daniel Jones's balance, I didn't get it. I'm not gonna lie, and I like the deal he took, so I don't want to hate on him. I got nothing for this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen her just fall over. I don't know. Like, what is?
I looked at it. I looked at it.
Fan thing. I don't know.
I tried to Google it. Honestly, I was like, okay, Daniel Jones falling. Daniel Jones.
Deep Reddit blog somewhere.
Somebody sent us the video. Somebody sent us the video as to why that is. Deshaun Watson, we don't even talk about it. Everybody knows about it. The Browns are dumb. I don't know what they were thinking. It's the dumbest deal. I think, in my opinion, that deal is going to go down as the most foolish deal in NFL history.
That for sure. 100%. That is the most dumb deal I've ever seen. Just such a Brown move, you know?
And by the way, the standard of that contract is a Super Bowl. The standard of that much money is a Super Bowl, or it's the worst contract. There is no in between. Either the Browns win the Super Bowl,
5 Super Bowls.
Like
not even Patrick Mahomes gets that type of money. Like, that's insane.
Right.
And he's won 2. So so
you have to win more Super Bowls than Patrick Mahomes in that contract.
Yeah. Yes.
That makes sense.
He's already down 1 year. He has 4 more years left. So
he's already down 1 year. So you better get it going. You better get it going, dude. Mac Jones's ankle, which I thought was savage when he got hurt against the Ravens. Like, it wasn't. I mean, I will say some of the shots. I remember when he got injured and I was watching the game. Like, some of the shots of him going down the tunnel, you would have thought this thing was snapped. Like, the way he was writhing and screaming in pain, like, you would have thought that thing was snapped. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, Paul Pierce going down the hallway versus Kobe Bryant, like walking back and taking a free throw. You know what I mean? Like, that was the level with which, like, I was kind of like, dude, that was real. Like, you would have sworn that he got shot in the leg or something, because it was bad, dude. It was not a good look. It was not a good look for your boy Daniel or Mac Jones, dude. It was not.
No, Mac Jones is he's not the guy. He's just not the guy. You know, the first year
he's not the guy.
He was all right, but they should go.
We're hating on everybody tonight. We're hating on everybody.
Fun. I'm just I'm just one of those nights. You know, just got to hate on everyone. I mean, obviously this is the worst quarterback. This is all the combination of the worst ones. So and Jimmy G didn't make the list, so I'm happy.
The only one we didn't agree with, Daniel Jones, we didn't understand, and I really liked his deal. I really liked his team-friendly deal, and we've seen it. They're already bringing in talent, so I really like that deal, so I'm not going to hate on him too much. Joe Burrow's hands, the dude's a dog. He's top 3 in the league. I don't know. Right. This dude I'm sorry. Joe Burrow's not any part of the worst quarterback in the league right now. Joe Burrow. I mean, for me right now, Joe Burrow's top 2. For me, I'm not going to take that away from Patrick Mahomes after the season he just had. But right below him, when you're talking about gamers, Joey B, I know somebody out there is screaming Josh Allen. Josh Allen has proven he just cannot take that last step. He doesn't want to take that last step. I don't know. There's nothing I can do for you. Matt Stafford, currently injured. Hopefully he comes back and he competes. There's a lot of good quarterbacks. We're saying the elite, the dogs of the dog. Herbert approaching it very quickly, but he's not there yet. Mahomes and Joey B have already established themselves. They've established themselves in the playoffs. They've established themselves as being able to get to and win. Joey B obviously has not won the big game yet, but I think he will.
I'll go Jalen Hurts as well in that conversation. So y'all don't think I'm just like a hater, homer, 49er fan. I'll give Jalen Hurts the credit. I haven't up until now, but I do.
Jalen Hurts,
because that was a great Super Bowl performance.
Great Super Bowl.
I mean, his fumble lost the game in a way. I mean, it did eventually, but
it was a one turnover. It was. That's the thing when you're playing
Super Bowl and a great.
To
playoff.
Me, that points to the greatness of Patrick Mahomes, though. I know we're getting off topic, but that points to the
I
greatness
know.
of Patrick Mahomes. But it's like Patrick Mahomes, you can't turn the ball over. You can have 0 turnovers to beat that dude.
Right. For you Philly fans who listen to us on a regular basis, Jalen Hurts is up there top 5 for sure. 100%.
That's right. He's a dog, 100%, dude. I agree. Everybody's like, "Oh, the Eagles are in so much trouble." I'm like, dude, I mean, they're probably not going to be as good as they were last year, but as long as they got Jalen, they got a shot.
Once they give him his bag, it's going to be tough, dude. It's going to be tough.
He's got to take a team-friendly deal. You've got to learn from the GOATs, dude. You've got to learn.
I hope he's learned.
Learn from Tom. Learn from Tom. Learn from Patrick Mahomes. You can still make that money, PS, in endorsements. There's no, if you win a Super Bowl, you're on every Wheaties box, dude. Go to Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes makes so much money from that city alone. Like, he would, the dude never even has to buy dinner for himself. I imagine everything's just free for Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. I imagine he never has to buy anything.
And that's a kind of a segue into, come on, Lamar. Learn from these other guys. You got
Lamar Jackson's agent. That was all time, dude. Whoever this was at, what did you say? At Commanders? At Commanders, dude. All time, bro. All time.
Great job.
Lamar Jackson's agent. I applaud you. That is an applause.
You too. It's not even like a part of the quarterback. It's just like Lamar Jackson's agent with his face. Lamar Jackson's face. It's so
true.
What is going on?
It's so true. You said it. When you last podcast, when you put in that real perspective of saying it's top 5 quarterback money, and it's even higher than that if he hits the bonuses. His base salary was top 5 quarterback money before the bonuses. He didn't even need to hit the bonuses to be top 5. I mean, what more could you possibly want? The fact that he turned it down immediately, he needs an agent. He needs an agent.
Yeah, he needs someone to just speak some sense into him, because now it's looking like no one, like it's been like 2 weeks since teams could negotiate with him, and no one is taking the bait. No one wants to pay him that type of money. Like, and he keeps using just Sean Watson and the Browns as his his reasoning. I'm like, dude, no one is going to give that type of contract out. When Patrick Mahomes is not making that type of money, like, don't tell me that you deserve more money guaranteed than Patrick Mahomes. And you hit it, dude. You hit it. Endorsements. If you resign in Baltimore, do you know how many local restaurants, local companies are going to endorse you? How many free meals you're going to have? You're going to have so much extra money in addition to what you're getting from the Baltimore Ravens. And again, what are we pretending that this is chump change? Like, this is hundreds of millions of dollars that the Ravens are offering you to be the leader of the franchise. And don't tell me, he's saying that, just because he was injured, the Ravens put him in that situation, and now that they're using that against him. Dude, no, you decided to sit out the last half of the last season. Don't tell me that was the Ravens' decision. You did that. And it's going to be used against you because you're not a team player. That 100%. Don't tell me. Don't tell me that I'm wrong here. Okay, so he's just mad that everything is backfiring in his face, essentially.
And in what world is $40 million somebody holding something against you? In what world is that the case? You want a long-term deal. You're a mobile. Again, you do not have a good arm. I'm going to say it for the people in the back. Lamar Jackson does not have an accurate, good arm. If we're dropping back in the pocket, there's about 10 dudes in the league that are going to beat him in a throwing contest. About 10 minimum.
Right.
I'm telling you right now, it is not great, because all of a sudden you got to bring in those unathletic guys, but who can huck the ball. That some of these dudes are backups right now. Like, legitimately, You've seen Lamar Jackson miss Mark Andrews. You've seen Lamar Jackson miss wide open receivers. We are not making this up. Okay, there's a reason that he has not succeeded yet. And granted, he does need some help with weapons, but he relies so heavily on his legs. And when that is the case, you are probably going to get a short-term deal. And for those of you who think I'm hating, I was on Lamar Jackson's side when this came out. I said, take the deal and prove everybody wrong. Take the $40 million. You're still in your prime in 3-4 years, and you're back on the market. You're saying, look, I'm the best. I'm the best.
Right.
I just proved it. I won a Super Bowl. I got my money. Pay me. I can take you to the promised land. You can get 2 big deals. This happens in baseball all the time. All the time this happens in baseballs. Young guys will get 3, 4 year, 5-year contracts. They're 29, 28, 30, whatever it is. And all of a sudden they're in the prime of their lives and they get another big contract. For those of you saying, again, NFL players don't last as long. I'm saying prove that you can, because that is the Ravens' concern, is the longevity and the dependency upon your legs. You've got to accept the deal. And the fact that nobody's coming to you does not surprise me at all. Doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise Big Z. We're not surprised. No. We told you. Take the money. Take the money and run, kid.
You should have taken the money 2 years ago, man. You should have taken it.
Should have taken the money 2 years ago. Big Z. I don't know if you got to watch, dude. This NCAA tournament.
Oh, I watched it, bro.
It's going off, dude. Everybody's a Cinderella story. There's one team that's left that's won the NCAA tournament before. Just one.
UConn?
And that's UConn. That's UConn. Everybody else, Miami, San Diego State, FAU, Florida Atlantic. What? Nothing. Never done it. Come on, son.
So I heard this thing today. So if you did a parlay, if you bet $100 and you had bet correctly these 4 teams, you bet $100, you would have made $4.1 million on this combination of the Final Four. And this is why I think that college basketball is great. I think that it's so unpredictable that because the NBA is so predictable that it's still fun to watch the playoffs, but you know what's going to happen, right? But with this is why no one's ever had a perfect bracket. This is why those little teams feel like they have a shot, like FAU, like San Diego State. And I think it's great. I think it's great for the game. I think it grows the game of college basketball. I think it makes guys stay at school instead of jumping into the NBA so quickly. And I love it. I think that UConn is obviously the favorite. I think that they were definitely given a lower seed than they should have had. So they've been winning their games by an average of 22 points, which is insane.
They were also not this good, though. They're like, they've caught fire. Like
they've got fire, but I think they should have been like a number 2 seed. Just like from all the research that has been done on them.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Of course, hindsight's 2020, right? So they probably were given an easier path, but I do think that they're the best team in the field. But who I'm rooting for is San Diego State. Just because we're SoCal guys, they've never made it to the Final Four before. And I know a lot of guys. I went to that school, and they're super excited about it. Like they're tuning into games on the weekend when they would never have done that in the past. And it's just a fun time. There's like a huge San Diego State coalition going out there. They're going to have fun. They're going to do like pregame stuff at the hotel. The university's paying for it. And it's just like going to be a really good time. I think it's fun, but I don't know. What do you think? Who do you got? UConn?
So we called San Diego State and we called UConn, right? Like getting into the Final Four, we nailed that. We nailed it 100%. I didn't think FAU and Miami would be there.
Yeah.
And I stand by my picks. I think San Diego State takes out FAU. I think San Diego State, they're playing great defense. They're playing stellar defense. They're scoring well. I got San Diego State. I'm enjoying watching their run. Miami, UConn, I got UConn. Dude, it's just, they look like a freak. Everybody looks good, okay, until they play UConn. I mean, they all have some big wins. You know, San Diego State beat Bama. Miami beat Houston. I'm giving Miami that respect. UConn has made everyone look absolutely horrendous. Horrendous. I thought there was multiple teams that UConn played that could have given them a problem, including Gonzaga. Gonzaga had just come off a win against UCLA. UConn made it look like Gonzaga didn't even belong in the tournament.
Yeah,
I mean,
it makes you wonder like how UCLA would have fared against them.
Not good. Not well. Yeah. I would have rooted for UCLA, but not well. I'll tell you that, dude. UConn, they've got it. If they stay this hot, unless like the week cools them off, which it hasn't happened yet, it's 100% them. Happen. I think UConn, San Diego State are in the finals, and I think UConn takes it. I think San Diego State gives them a great game. I think they fight. I just think there's certain teams when you're watching them play in the tournament that just capture the intensity, capture all of the momentum, and that's UConn to me. What do you think? Well, how do you see this thing ending?
I mean, the favorite's UConn, and I want to agree with you just because like that's just any smart sports fan would, but I'm going San Diego State. I just think it's cool. I mean, they're number 5, UConn's number 4. But I'm just going them just because I'm just being a homer right now. But I mean, don't you agree? Like, this is what makes college basketball great. Like, this is the first time since the 70s since that a number 1 seed hasn't been in the Final Four. I think that's cool. I think that the Blue Bloods, like the Dukes, the Kansas, the North Carolinas, I think it's cool that they're not in that because this just gives this sport hope in a way. You know, like all these guys, all the big schools, they have the NIL money now. And, you know, the smaller schools don't have that. FAU, there's no way that their budget is that big. They're getting guys on scholarship, and that's probably it. But they're making the run. And they get to live their dreams. And like, 100%. And I think it's great. I think it's really cool. It's unpredictable.
I can agree.
Yeah.
I couldn't disagree more with that Kings, one of the Kings players. I didn't,
Fox,
I should have paid attention. Fox coming out saying
Fox, he said that it's bad reffing, the shooting is bad. I'm like, bro, this isn't the NBA though. Like, you know, like they're not going to be as good and as talented as you guys.
Right. There's one or two guys on these squads that's going to make the NBA. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're not under delusion. It's not like the starting five is going. If a team sends two of their starting five to the NBA, it's like, whoa, that team was really good. That team was really special. If you send one guy from your starting five, it's like, wow, that team did it. So for this guy to completely it shows complete lack of reality to me. It just shows how out of touch he is.
And it's like, come on, dude, like you were here once. Like you were in
and second of all, you're a King. First of all, congrats on the run you're having. I like the Kings. Yeah. I'm really high on them. I was really high on them before this comment, to be honest. I was like, wow, this is so awesome for the Sacramento Kings. You haven't been good for a decade. Okay. Stop pretending like the Sacramento Kings had the best shooters around. Like you're not winning the NBA finals. I'm saying that right now. You're not winning the NBA finals.
And also this is the first year that they've been relevant since he's been on the team.
Right.
And he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but like, come on, dude. Like, don't forget like where your roots are.
Right. For this guy to come out
you
and say,
played
like,
in college.
Right.
Like, don't be a fool. Like, come on, dude. Like, just let them have their day. You know, like
100%.
What are you scared that they're taking away fame from you? Like, come on, dude. Just let these guys do their thing.
If I watch you and I watch Steph Curry shoot, I could say this. I could give the same criticism. Oh, this guy's not really good at shooting.
Exactly.
Right? Like it's the same exact criticism if I compare you to Steph Curry. Like just keep your mouth shut.
And you try to officiate the games. You try to officiate it. Like, come on, bro.
Let the fans watch. Let us enjoy. We're having a blast watching these guys. We're sorry that their ratings are probably, just as good as yours. I don't know if that's factual or not, but it's great. It's great to watch. It's fun to watch. I'm loving it. Dude, I mean, and again, the tournament,
sports great.
But see, everything that he hates about it is what I love about it. Is that like when UCLA lost to the Gonzaga, right? They were down 8,
heartbreaking,
and there was no reason that UCLA should have been able to make that game close, and yet they took the lead somehow. Like a minute 14, they're down by 6 or 7. They take the lead, then they lose it. They ultimately lose the game. But it was like this would never happen in an NBA game. That would never in a million years happen in an NBA game, but that's what makes it fun. I hated the criticism. I love it. I can't wait to watch UConn play San Diego State. I think UConn's going to win. Big Z's riding with his friends, his boys, San Diego State. I respect the heck out of that. And then, of course, speaking of the Kings, the Sacramento Kings, there is a big decision coming. The NBA chance of avoiding the lockout. Adam Silver came out and says he hopes that the NBA and CBA reach an agreement by the end of the week. But in that article, and it was like only the third paragraph, which I found was interesting. They went on to mention some of the media, some of the news, some of the discrepancies that they have between the league and the media, what have you. There's a few things that the league would like to see changed, which, they haven't released as many details yet.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing that I took away, and they use this wording, not me. One of the largest separating points, one of the big differences is the owners are not willing to take the same deal, which leads me to believe the CBA is. So that's a big point right there. That's a big issue that they are not willing to at least re-sign this deal.
Like revenue wise, yeah.
Right. We've seen this before, We've said it before, Big Z. I don't see the NBA avoiding lockout. I mean, maybe they will. I hope they will. I hope they do. It just seems like something's got to get solved, and they got some really big issues. I think their issues are easily as big as baseball's when baseball had their lockout. I really do. I really think their issues are very similar. You got players not wanting to play.
Yeah.
Owners getting players doing everything they want. These guys don't play. Something's got to change. I don't know what it is. And again, I'm hearing reports about like, oh, well, the team wants these guys to sit. And if that's the case, shame on you, owners. I don't know. I don't know, Big Z. Talk to me, dude.
Yeah, I don't know about that. if I'm an owner, like if I'm Genie Bus at the Lakers, I do not want Anthony Davis sitting on the second night of a back-to-back when you're in a playoff race. Like one of my best players, I'm paying $45 million. Like I think that's a complete bogus report, in my opinion. I don't know. I have no sources. I'm with you. I think that's a complete bogus.
Let me throw I'm throwing my name on the hook with you. I'm with you. I 100% agree. 100% agree.
I think that's stupid. The one difference between the NBA's issue right now, the MLB's lockout last year, is that a lot of the NBA, like the conversations, a lot of it has been locked up, right? We really haven't heard too much from one source or the other one. With MLB, it was like one report here, one report there. They're coming close, they're not. And it was just like, it's their fault. It's their fault. And it was so much like such a big war and knocking heads every single night. And that's my only optimism here, is that they aren't bashing each other in the media in public. That they may be yelling at each other behind closed doors, but that's how it should be. That's how these negotiations should be going. But the one telling sign from that article is that so how the current CBA is constructed is that after this season, so there's one more year that the CBA can run through, but after this season, each party can opt out if they think that for whatever reason they can opt out. So today, Adam Silver, in this article at least, he said that if we don't come to an agreement by June 30th, which is the end of the NBA season, we are going to opt out and enact a lockout, essentially, right? That's what would happen. The NBA Players Association came out and said, we were unaware that the NBA, that the league felt like this, and that is kind of taking us aback. We are not going to opt out. That is not the stance that we're going to take. So, though I do think that they are,
of course, they're not going to opt out
because they're going to get money. But do I think they're handling it on a more professional terms than the MLB and the MLBPA? Those are kind of fighting words from Adam Silver, which is interesting because Adam Silver has been a big proponent of the players in the past. I think he's the most player-friendly commissioner there is, which I'm not going to say is bad or good. I'm just saying that that's just a fact that he's allowed them to do a lot, speak up a lot, and really dictate what happens in the league. And so for him to say that is kind of surprising, which makes me think that there probably is a good chance that they're going to have a lockout. Is it going to extend into next season? I don't know, but I do think that there's going to be some sort of lockout. But hey, what we learned from MLB's lockout last year is that in the interim, it did hurt, it hurt some hardcore fans like ourselves. But I think that the MLB came out of it for the better.
100%.
Rob Manfred, I listened to an interview today. He has totally changed his tone, at least, from what he says. He listens to players' input on the rule changes. There's a lot of things happening for MLB that has grown the game, and so much more than it has grown in the last 30 years. Like, so much more has happened in this last 6 months. World Baseball Classic, all the rule changes, just everything, and just the transparency and bringing people in, hiring CC Sabathia, Raul Ibanez to be to talk with him directly, have a direct line of communication. This is what we think. You should listen to it. And he's listening. Maybe this is what the NBA needs, right?
Guys that are respected. Guys that are respected by the baseball players as well.
Exactly. So, yes, Adam Silver, he does listen to the players, but there is an imbalance, like you said. Guys sitting out on back-to-backs. Like, no. Like, that is not going to grow your game of basketball.
You said something in there that I think was so key. And you said the one thing, the key difference here, and it seems good at face value, is that there's a lack of discrepancy as there was in the MLB. But see, I think because the MLB Players Association is so strong, I think that the discrepancy comes to the surface because they have that voice. Whereas the NBA, yes, the Players Association has become more and more strong. Having said that, the owners are almost being held hostage in a way in terms of if their guys are going to play. And that's how they see it. That's not my opinion. That's probably how they see it. And that to me is when you look at a guy like Kevin Durant, who can just look at you and say, I want to trade or I'm not playing. Right? Like after let's get this coach, let's bring in Kyrie. either this or I'm not playing. This on some level, and I'm not suggesting that you should feel bad for owners. These guys are billionaires. In no way, shape, or form am I saying you should feel bad for the owner. It's not what I'm saying, because I'm sure somebody already turned this off. Was like, well, these guys are siding with the owners. Like, blah. No, I don't care. Okay, I just want to watch NBA games. I enjoy the NBA. I hope there's not a lockout. What I am saying is the idea that you're going to make $77 million a year, and also you're going to sit out every other game. That doesn't make sense. Like,
and if I don't just if I don't get my way, I'm not playing, and yet you still have to pay me. Like, what?
Right.
No, bro. Like, what if I did that work? I'm not going to show up today because I'm mad at what you said yesterday to me. Right. And you still have to pay me. That's not going to fly. Like,
right.
These guys live in it's a different reality than what we live in. It's like we can't comprehend that, but it's kind of ludicrous in a way that these demands is like, you get me Kyrie, you get me as coach, or I'm not going to play. You trade me, or else I'm like, what? Come on, dude. Like,
there's got to be some give and take.
There has to be a balance.
There's got to be some give and take.
And I was saying this so many times last year with the MLB and the MLBPA. You guys have to be adults. There has to be compromise to get stuff done. And if you stay at the status quo, you're never going to grow as an organization, because 100%. Each side, you have said this, each side needs each other. Right? But if both of you are not willing to listen to the other, you're never going to grow. You're going to stay where you're at. You're going to stay stagnant, and you're going to die. And this is the same way the NBA has. They're losing ratings, like 100%. It is recorded.
Talked about it on episode 1.
Yeah, we did.
Go back, listen to episode 1.
They're one of the worst ratings it's been in 10 years ever for the NBA. So there has to be some give and take here. And it's going to really hurt the NBA if they don't change something. And I really think one of the sticking points is them sitting out the media, the revenue, whatever that is. I think they really need to take a look at that. And maybe the lockout is good for the league. If it goes into the season, I think that's where it really is going to harm the league. But if you do it for a couple months, I think you're going to be okay. I really do. Right. It really lets them go back to the drawing table and figure some stuff out.
No, 100%. 100%. You cannot continue to expect this to keep going. Like, it cannot keep going as it is. I mean, there's former NBA players that are coming out and saying, look, something's got to give. Something's got to change. And listen, I love, above all else, I'm a big Laker fan. I loved Kobe. And one of my favorite things about Kobe is he played for the love of the game. And Kobe also got paid millions upon millions of dollars. And to me, that's what's hurting me. And again, I'm not trying to side with the billionaire owner. I'm not a billionaire. I don't know what that's like. But what I do know is that I want basketball to be played. And currently it seems like that's being threatened. It seems like that's being threatened.
And it's so interesting to me. Like, yeah, we're not trying to take sides of owners. We're not trying to take sides of players. But like, if I'm a player, if I'm Kevin Durant, if I'm Anthony Davis, I want to showcase my talents to the world every single night. Like that. Right. I'm taking pride in the game I grew up playing, the game I had dreams of playing this game professionally in front of hundreds of thousands of people, or tens of thousands of people every single night in a packed arena. Like, that should be something that should give you pride. And like, why are you sitting out? And people on the other side of the aisle would say, look at so-and-so, they tore their ACL last night because they weren't load managing. Like, well, that's sports, bro. Like, that is sports.
And
like, this
by
is
the way,
what happens.
Just so we're clear, just so you know, we're not making this up. According to the Sports Business Journal, this is a reputable site, okay? More than 9 million people this year tuned in to the first round of March Madness. And you're thinking, well, that's a whole round. Fine. Fairleigh Dickinson upsetting number 1 Purdue, 11.5 million people tuned into that. And for those people sitting here telling me, well, that's the playoffs. Fine. The NBA playoff averaged 3.7 million viewers. Okay. So we are not even in the same ballpark. It's not that people are sick of basketball. People love basketball. I love basketball. What I don't like is turning on the Lakers, making a run, and Anthony Davis is on the bench because he just played the night before, and we're making in the middle of a playoff push. And
because
if the argument is, he can't stay healthy, right? It's like, dude, then be prepared. Get ready to stay healthy. We give the same knock to MLB players, and yes, those guys sit out too, but again, we give that same knock. Be ready. Condition your body for a full season.
Right.
You don't play year round. And in fact, MLB plays way longer, but you've got to be ready for the season.
This is, I'm not a big LeBron fan, but this is one thing I will say to LeBron. He invests $1 million into his body every single year. And when he can, he will play. The only reason he doesn't play is because he's had some freak injuries. So he makes himself ready. Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, you guys are not getting yourselves ready in the offseason. You are not prepping your body. And you cannot tell me that you're trying. And this is why 11 million people have tuned into Farley Dickinson and Purdue, is because these guys would never sit out a game.
They're ready.
They are ready. They have trained their whole lives for this, and they want that moment. They want to play for that moment, play for the family, play for the friends, play for their school, right? Anthony Davis, you're going to sit out every other back-to-back? No, dude, come on. Dude.
Right.
Like, that's crazy. And you're getting paid $45 million. Like, that's how us, the people, feel. And that's why the rating differential is so much.
I don't hear about their workouts. I don't want to hear about they have the most intense, they have the most extreme workouts of any sport. I don't care. 11 million people agree with me. Only 2.7 million agree with you. And by the way, the ratings for Japan, just a little fun fact, just throw it in there. Guys not sitting out. Japan, Shohei Ohtani shows up. Yu Darvish show up. This is March, before they have to play a 162-game season on teams that heavily rely on them. 45 million people in Japan tuned in at 8 o'clock on a work day. On a work day. That's what happens when you don't sit out. That's baseball growing all around the world. For those who think baseball is dead, you're wrong. Baseball is growing. It's coming up. You missed out if you didn't watch it. This episode has been fun. Fire-filled at times, hate-filled at times, but fun overall. Big Z, say bye to the people.
Can I say something today? Or real quick, what I saw something today. It was hilarious.
Do it.
So it was about the World Baseball Classic and about so it was Shohei Ohtani was able to lead his team to the finals. Mike Trout was able to lead his team to the finals. Imagine if those two played on the same team. Oh wait.
The best one I saw for that was like there's those 3 dragon heads. Like 2 dragons like look like super hard, like serpent dragon looking things. They look like super hard. And then the last one is like, it just looks terrible.
It's Moreno.
It just looks so bad. It just looks so bad. Just kind of like, I'm out to lunch. This is what we're doing. I'm just trucking along,
funny,
you know?
Dude.
It was hilarious, dude.
Poor Angels fans. But yeah, this has been fun. It's just fun to be silly and to take shots at people. I love you all. I love sports. I love to be entertained. So yeah, take a shot back at me. I don't care. I'll take it. It's all good. But thank you guys for listening. It's always a good time. And I always love talking with my boy, Father Fredo Lay.
That's it, baby. Good talking to you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, Gal, so much for tuning in. Thank all who listen so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Tune in next week. We'll have another episode for you at some point. We just enjoy getting episodes out to you. It's once a week. Right. That's all you need to know. Follow the show on anywhere where our podcasts are available, and you won't even have to worry about when we come out with the episode because you'll get a little notification on your phone. Say episode is out, and you can go ahead and listen.
Hit subscribe.
Hit that subscribe. Hit that like. Hit that ratings. We'll end this as we always do with a very simple thank you so much for listening. Have a good night.